Right. So I'll um, welcome everybody to Harvard and to the information session for your seminars. I'm Ofrit Liviatan. I direct the first year seminar program, and I also teach in the government. I teach courses on comparative law and on tech policy. And I hope you're here because you are wondering, what are first year seminars? Should I be taking a first year seminar? And if you are already convinced or already realized that there is something about these first year seminars, you'd like to learn what to consider when you apply. My goal in our time together is to convince you that this is an opportunity that you should not be passing over. And I will do that by, I constructed my presentation in the following. I want to start with explaining to you what makes first year seminars unique and why you must consider taking a first year seminar or even two in the fall and in the spring. Then I'll briefly explain to you the enrollment process that closes on August 6th for both fall and spring seminars. And I'll close by suggesting a few ways to think about ranking your applications to first year seminars. After that, I'm excited to answer your questions, any that you may have, but let me already flag that tomorrow and Wednesday, we are holding additional office hours between 11 and 1 p.m., and you can find the Zoom links for these office hours on our website. So feel free to join tomorrow and Wednesday and get your questions answered until the deadline to submit your application, which is on Thursday. Okay, so let's dive right straight in and ask ourselves the central question. You have 8 classes, maybe 9, because in the spring you can actually take 5 classes in the spring semester. So you have 8 or 9 classes to choose from during your first year. Should one of them, or perhaps 2 of them, be a first year seminar? And my answer to this question is a ringing yes for 4 main reasons. The first reason is that I think you deserve to learn something that you truly enjoy in your first year. And first year seminars are not only spectacular, but they also ensure that beyond fulfilling your requirements and beyond completing your introductory classes, your first year will brim with a class that you truly enjoy. The second reason that I think you should be taking a first year seminar, and maybe 2, is that you should be a part of a class where everyone knows you. First year seminars are these type of classes. The seminar that you'll take will likely be the smallest class you'll take during your entire time at Harvard. The third reason I think that you should be taking a first year seminar is that you ought to cultivate mentorship relationship with a Harvard professor in your first academic year. The faculty that teach first year seminars do so in order to take you under their wings, so you should seize on that opportunity. And lastly, the fourth reason that I think you should take a first year seminar is that it will enable you to make informed choices about your interest or your potential concentrations without stressing over grades. We design first year seminars precisely to be that space for you to explore your interest and to think about thoughtfully about choosing your concentration. Now, this does not mean that you can't find these elements in other classes. But the main difference between first year seminars and other classes in the college, say Gen Ed classes or concentration requirements, is that these classes repeat themselves, the latter classes repeat themselves in later years. First year seminars don't. So this is your opportunity because they won't be available for you in future years. Now, I've been running the first year seminar for quite a while now, and I want to tell you that students that have not taken a first year seminar constantly circle back to me with regret. They didn't understand what it meant to take a first year seminar when they were there, and they come back and they say that was a big mistake. So I'm trying to persuade you to avoid that mistake. It's also true for seniors that circle back to me and tell me, my first year seminar was one of the best gifts that Harvard has given me. So please seize on the gift. Now, we don't run another application for spring registration. That is very important to remember. So next semester, if you're not placed now in a seminar, next semester you could potentially take a spring seminar, but only the ones with open seats. So by Thursday, when the application to first year seminar closes, it's your best chance to secure your fall seminar, your spring seminar, and if you choose to take two, both your fall and your spring seminars. So this is kind of the outline, but let's dive a little deeper to understand how first year seminars support your Harvard journey. So we cap our seminars intentionally small and exceptionally intimate compared to your other first year experiences in order to make them impactful for you. It's very natural for newcomers like yourself to want to connect. And our seminars are the space to do that because they establish real connectivity with professors and with your classmates. Students in the class won't be just passing faces for you. And trust me that I'm not exaggerating when I say that your future best friendships start in first year seminars. You will also get full credit for your seminar, but also the opportunity to explore your interest without stressing over grades. And I want to explain that because you may have heard that Harvard is changing its grading system. If you do the work in a first year seminar, even if it's not in an A level, you will get a special grade that is that we have in first year seminars that is satisfactory. Of course, if you don't do the grade, you will get if you don't do the work, you'll get an unsatisfactory. But why do we have this special grade of satisfactory in first year seminars? Precisely because we want you to try out new subjects in our seminar, not necessarily to do what you're good at, but what you're interested in. We want you to learn something you haven't encountered, to have the real opportunity to examine what you think will be your concentration before you commit to it. We don't want you to feel pressured by competition with older students who already know the ropes. We don't want you to think about our classes as ticking boxes or fulfilling requirements. Rather, take your first year seminar to be the safety zone to experiment with subjects. So we offer you next year or this year when you're coming in, we're offering you a seminar where you can potentially write poems before you commit to creative writing. We offer you several seminars to really experiment with AI. You can attempt to solve some of science's greatest mysteries in a seminar called Genuinely Hard Problems in Science. You made Harvard your home for the next 4 years. Why not get to know your home on so many levels in a superb seminar that we have called Harvard Through History? Now, if you've already had a chance to browse our offerings, you notice the remarkable variety that awaits you. And you probably also noticed that our seminars are taught by Harvard's world-renowned faculty, scholars that you may have encountered in books that you read, guests on your favorite podcast, commentators on last night's news. Our seminars offer you the opportunity to find your direction with these people, to find your passion with the scholar that made your interest their life pursuit. And since a picture is worth a thousand words, please allow me to give you a few quick visuals. So experiential learning is the name of our game. Most seminars include special activities, field trips that give you a taste of what it means to work in the field. You will study in the labs where your professor is doing the research you are interested in. Our first year seminars will introduce you to our world-class museums. I don't know if you know that, but Harvard has world-class museums, has world-class libraries, and quite impressive special collections. Some of our seminars will take you around Harvard, others will take you around Cambridge, some around Massachusetts, others around other US states, and even abroad. In most seminars, faculty will welcome you into their lives. They'll invite you to their homes. Your first year seminar professor will offer you opportunities to join their research. They'll take you behind the scenes, and eventually they'll be writing you the best letter of recommendation because they know you so well in this intimate and small environment that you will, that first year seminar cultivate. So I hope I awakened your appetite to explore our seminars really thoughtfully, and we can move on to chat about the enrollment process. Again, at the end, you can ask me all your questions, but I'll give you a brief overview. So you can enroll, as I've mentioned, in 2 first-year seminars, one in each term. You'll find the offerings and the application system, because you apply through our website, on the first-year seminar program's website. So this is the perfect time for you, if you haven't done so already, to familiarize yourself with our program's website and the steps that you need to take in order to apply over there. And if you have browsed our website, you notice that between fall and spring, we offer you an abundance of seminars to choose from. Now, my first advice, and it's a very important advice, is to read the seminar descriptions very, very carefully. Otherwise, you might miss something like that in the scientific study of wants and well-being, you have actually a terrific seminar for those who want to study economics. It's not in the title, so you can miss it. So please read seminar descriptions carefully. Similarly, if you don't read them carefully, you might miss that the chair of physics, who plans to teach you physics in his seminar, also is planning to use devices to create artwork in the seminar. So you really want to read them very, very carefully. Another example is cosmic art. The title does not reveal it, but this is a seminar as much about art as it is about cosmology. This specific seminar is also introducing you to one of the most unbelievable spaces at Harvard, known as the Cam Lab. If anybody ever heard about that, that's one of the places that the seminar will meet. So you really want to read the description very carefully. Now, as part of your application, you're also asked to write a short but convincing answer to why you are interested in a specific seminars. And some seminars will ask you for additional information. There's going to be a question or two in that specific application. So make sure to put the work into explaining to the faculty member why their seminar piqued your interest. Our professors, as I've mentioned, come to first-year seminars to teach their true passions, the questions they've spent their career chasing. So take the time to write a convincing reflection on why you are genuinely interested in the class. By August 6th at 11:59 p.m., please do that a little earlier and don't wait to 11:59 p.m. You need to submit your application to your preferred fall seminars, to your preferred spring seminars, or both to your preferred fall and spring seminars. One term doesn't affect the other. So feel free to apply in both terms if you intend to enroll in both terms. Now, there's no limit to how many seminars you can apply for. But to maximize your placement chances, we recommend that you apply to at least 6 fall seminars and at least 3 spring seminars, and rank your seminars in order of preferences. Now, after you've submitted your preferences, we run an algorithm that matches the student with the seminar slots. Remember, our seminars are very, very small. So you'll be notified on August 10th if you were placed in a seminar for both your fall and your spring. If you were placed in a fall seminar, you are enrolled in it automatically. For the spring, the process is a little different. Your placement is secured. You have been placed into this seminar, but you'll see your enrollment only in November when spring course registration is taking place. That's the window then. Please don't feel discouraged if you weren't placed in a seminar. Our seminars are quite popular, but seats do open up. So on the morning of August 11th at 10 a.m., we will post the seminars with open seats on our website, and there will be a lot of them at that point. What you want to do is check our website frequently and write to the faculty member that you're interested in joining their seminar and ask for a slot in their open seminar. And if they approve your request, you can enroll. The same process applies in the spring, but not for spring seminars over the summer. As I've mentioned, the spring seminar process takes place in November. So for starting on August 10th, you will be able to see the open seats in both fall and spring. but you will be able only to enroll in the fall seminars. Now, the course registration deadline is August 13th for fall seminars. So if a seat opens up, you should ask for, you should contact the faculty member with an email, and you can do it through My Harvard, but I would also suggest sending an email. And in both cases, you should reach out to our office if you get an approval from the professor, so we can help you finalize enrollment before August 13th. Again, you can also start asking for slots in spring seminars starting in the summer, but you'll only be able to enroll in those seminars in come November. Okay, so now to the big. I think that's a very important dimension of how to approach your application, how to maximize placement. So what to consider when ranking your first-year seminar applications. I mentioned earlier that our seminars are intentionally small, and they give you what we want to think about as a risk-free opportunity to enroll in subjects that you haven't necessarily encountered or necessarily aced back when you were in high school. But size is our blessing and our curse. No matter how starry-eyed you must feel about a specific seminar, there will be only a dozen slots, 15 in some seminars, but not more than that. So let's go through a few scenarios on how you can maximize your placement chances in the seminars you want to enroll in. Let's assume that you want to concentrate in science, and you found you found quite a few, I hope, quite a few interesting science seminars. You want to identify the seminar you are most interested in and place that seminar as your first choice. But after that first choice, you want to think about your choices more broadly than just, wow, this is a great seminar. And I'll explain what I mean by diversifying your choices with a few examples. So say the seminar that piqued your interest the most is first-year seminar 21V, Black Holes, String Theory, and the Fundamental Laws of Nature. That's your top choice. You are in great company because that's a very, very popular seminar with only so many slots. So place first-year seminar 21V as your first choice. Always rank the seminar you're most interested in as your first choice. That's a given, okay? But after that choice, start to recall what I've just shared with you and what first-year seminars can do for you. Remember what I said about Harvard's well-renowned resources. So for your second choice, you can choose first-year seminar 51S, Natural History Museums and the Anthropocene, because that seminar won't just take you behind the scenes of Harvard's most amazing, famed natural history museums, but you'll also have a chance in your seminar to create an exhibition in that museum. So think about it. Think about the opportunity of doing something like that. Now, Harvard is a liberal arts college, as you know, and I hope that this is why you came here instead of going to MIT. So embrace the spirit of liberal arts and think about our seminars as the space to help you be a better scientist, a more well-informed scientist in the future. So I'll give you an example. To me, I thought it was really, if I were a scientist, I mean, I'm a social scientist, but if I were a physical scientist, it would have been really interesting to me to be able to decipher why Galileo or Newton emerged from the Western tradition, while Ramanujan discovered infinity, but he came from the Eastern tradition. So why is that divergence? If you placed first-year seminar 54C, Weird Minds, as your third choice, you will have that opportunity to study that exact question with the eminent scholar who thinks about cultural variations and how they affect how people think, how people reason, and how people feel. So if I were you, I'd think seriously about putting that first-year seminar, even if I want to study science. That first-year seminar would give me a very interesting prism to look at science or to look at scientists. Now you have 3 more applications. Remember, in the fall, we want you to rank at least 6 seminars, so you signal to the system which seminars you're interested in. So it's, as a future scientist, it's extremely important for you to know how to embrace failure, because a lot of scientific discovery involves dead-end experiments, incorrect hypotheses, and non-reproducible results. So first-year seminar 68M, Avoiding Failure, invites you to think about the connection between failure and innovation. I think that's a very important aspect for a future scientist. First-year seminar 54M, Consciousness and the Universe, will illuminate for you why consciousness resisted traditional scientific explanation. That's really interesting. So it's not only a scientific seminar, it also exposes you to a very interesting dilemma in science. So place 64M as your fifth choice, or it's an opportunity to place it as your fifth choice. And at the end, maybe as your sixth choice, if you want to understand why the fossil record is so important to life on Earth, this is an opportunity for you to do that. So this is an illustration, if you are thinking about science, to put your first one, the one you want the most, the physics one you want the most. But physics is very popular at Harvard. It's one of our largest concentrations in science. So choose the physics one first, and then start to diversify your choices. Now let's entertain scenarios in the social science, where we have two massive, very, very big concentrations, government and economics. These are two of Harvard's largest concentrations. So here too, you want to think about your interests broadly. Don't submit an application that only economics seminar, like don't rank only economic seminar, or don't diversify. Think about this more broadly. So I'll give you a fall and a spring illustration of what diversification looks like. A fall scenario for people interested in government. So quite obvious, making government work better, and obvious choices for somebody who is thinking to concentrate in science, an obvious first choice. But I'm a political scientist myself, and I want to assure you that thinking about politics with different lenses actually makes you a much better political scientist. One of the big dilemmas in social science and in political science has been religion. It's a source of many of our world's largest biggest, greatest political dilemmas. So place first-year seminar 68F, Imagine There's No Religion, as your second choice. We are leading scholars on this. So place first-year seminar 75G as your third choice. Now, of course, politics is all about institutions. You are coming to one big institution. Universities are the oldest institutions in the world. I hope you know that. And they are also foundational to American politics. And you have chosen to come to the oldest one on this side of the Atlantic with the most contribution to politics in that sense. So Harvard is now political news on a daily basis. Who can decipher why and what's going on with none other history? So you want to place a first-year seminar 68L as one of your choices. The Middle East. Is that not an entering point to a future politician? Of course, you need to contemplate in your career. If you choose a career in politics, one way or another, the Middle East probably. So here is a first-year seminar that teaches you about the Middle East, but not only does it through the lens of film, which is quite fascinating. So place that as one of your choices as well. Now, finally, as your sixth choice, it doesn't say that in the title, but of course you need to read the seminar description carefully. But one of the most extremely urgent questions for politicians in the age of AI is what role science will play, or AI in that matter, or technology, in politics and society. That is exactly first year seminar 54L. What is science for? So this is an example in government. Let's do a spring example in economics, another huge concentration at Harvard. So if you plan to study economics, you're probably not alone. And some of the world's leading economists teach first-year seminars. So it's a very safe bet for all of you that all these seminars are oversubscribed. Now look at our spring. 2 Nobel laureates in economics are teaching seminars in the spring. Now, I won't blame you if you want to choose one of them as your first choice, but don't put the other one as your second choice, because that would be a wasted application. If you don't get into the first 12 slots in your first year seminar, economic seminar, you will certainly won't get into the second one, because there's going to be enough first choices for that one. So if you want an economic seminar, make sure to apply in both semesters, fall and spring, and put the one you want the most as your first choice to maximize your chances. But after that first choice, think holistically and broadly about your interest in economics. So I'm going to give you 2 more examples, because remember, in the spring, we want you to apply to at least 3 seminars. Peace and protest are vital to understand economics, because conflicts can destroy markets, while peace is central to economic stability. First year seminar 63N on peace and protest is a terrific second choice for future economists. And trust me, you won't regret that seminar if you enroll in it. Now, understanding economics requires understanding thinkers like Thomas Hobbes, Immanuel Kant, because they are foundational theories to property, to social order, to human behavior, and more. So place a seminar of 48K, Legitimacy and Resistance, as your third choice. Again, I repeat, there are only 12 slots in each economics or government or science seminars, and many, many applicants. So choose the one you want the most in both fall and spring, and put them as your first choice. And after that, start thinking about your interests with the descriptions on a broader prism than just being an economics seminar. Now let's talk about seminars offered by faculty from the professional schools. You're thinking about a legal or a medical career, or you plan to continue in business school. You are in the greatest company. First-year seminars taught by faculty from the professional schools are extremely oversubscribed. Please don't waste your application by applying only to seminars taught by faculty from the professional schools. Again, as with before, apply to both fall and spring seminars only to your absolute top choice of the business school or the law school or the medical school professor, and rank it as your first choice. And after your first choice, you are if you continue to put these professional school seminars as your second, third, fourth, etc., you are essentially applying to seminars you won't get into, because there are a lot of applicants. So here too, diversify your choices. Trust me, I'm a recovering lawyer. You'll make a far better lawyer if you understand the power of a good story. So take a seminar that teaches you how to read fiction. It's going to help you in court a lot. You'll make a far better physician if you encounter the narratives of illness. And we have seminars about that, and that will teach you about that as well. I cannot reiterate enough. Avoid placing seminars taught by faculty from the law school, business school, medical school after your first choice, and put them in your first in your fall and spring spring application as your first choice only. And similarly, you may have encountered what we have in first year seminars, something very, very special, pre or post seminar modules. Here too, please apply to them, not because, and I just want to explain that pre or post seminar modules offer you an opportunity to deepen your seminar experience with quite a mesmerizing trip, either in January or in May, depending if the seminar is fall or spring. So I here to apply to these seminars, not because you get a free trip to Honduras or to Japan, but because what our seminars offer you. We offer you a chance to find your direction, to find your concentration, your future faculty mentor, or to get special access to extraordinary Harvard spaces. If you aren't interested in earth science, there is no reason to apply to Life of an Iceberg just because it goes to Iceland. But you should and you must certainly apply to Lasers in the Maya jungle if you are interested in Mayan archaeology. So please let our seminars be the life-changing experience that you came to Harvard for. Please don't miss out. Now, if you don't get into your first choice, stay in the seminar, even if it was not your original first choice, because you will definitely regret it later if you don't. Please give us a chance to blow your mind. And we are here to help you over the next few days. So before I open to questions,